In a year of momentous happenings, 1989 was a year of disasters, protest, and the breaking down of walls. It seemed that 1989 was off to a good start. That was until the supertanker Exxon Valdez ran aground off Alaska in March, proving that environmental disaster could strike the United States in what was their worst ever oil spill. Later in the year, catastrophe continued for the US when a powerful earthquake hit Northern California. Caused by a slip along the San Andreas Fault, the earthquake lasted approximately 15 seconds and registered 6.9 on the Richter scale. The quake killed 63 people, injured over 3,000, and left some 12,000 people homeless. The tremor struck the San Francisco-Oakland Bay area during the evening rush hour, when the Cross Harbor Bay Bridge and its approach road system were jammed with commuter traffic.
I had been under the impression that the highways had been constructed to deal with any severe earthquake, and I am very surprised to see what has happened with some of those, and I think that we are going to have some inquiry with respect to that.
As one superpower was reeling from the effects of disasters, across the globe, 1989 was a year that saw momentous happenings shake up the communist regimes of China and the USSR. After 9 years of controversial occupation, the Soviet army finally withdrew from Afghanistan. With over 1 million dead Afghanis and 5 million refugees fleeing to Pakistan and Iran, the Soviet occupation had achieved little and left behind a breeding ground for Islamic fundamentalist terrorists. When the novel Satanic Verses went on sale in Paris, it was as though fuel was put to an already smouldering fire. In little over an hour, customers bought up all 1,000 copies at one of the biggest bookshops in central Paris. The book was condemned by Muslims as blasphemous, and the late Iranian leader Ayatollah Khomeini had urged Muslims to kill the book's author, Salman Rushdie.
It shows that this is the latest stage in a campaign that began with smears and vilifications and distortions of the book, which has escalated through all sorts of levels of violence. And frankly, I wish I'd written a more critical book. I mean, a religion that claims that is able to behave like this, religious leaders, let's say, who are able to behave like this, and then say that this is a religion which must be above any kind of whisper of criticism. I mean, that doesn't add up. It seems to me that Islamic fundamentalists could do with a little criticism right now.
Although the leaders of France's 3 million Muslims had condemned the book, they stopped short of making death threats in public after the French government had threatened to take action against them. Security fears delayed publication in France, and many stores were still too scared to stock the book, which was banned in most Islamic countries. Rushdie, who had been born in India to a Muslim family, went into hiding under police protection. Back from the shame of Afghanistan, the USSR was now facing a momentous happening that would see the beginning of the end of the hammer and sickle. Under mounting pressure, East Germany's ruling Communist Party threw open its borders to the west. And the 28-year-old symbol of the Iron Curtain, the Berlin Wall, began to crumble as the political map of Europe was changed forever. Within hours, the first of an estimated 1.4 million East Germans who had applied to emigrate began arriving in West Germany and West Berlin. As 1989 was drawing to a close, another communist regime was seen for further momentous happenings. The President and General Secretary of the Romanian Communist Party, Nicolae Ceausescu, and his wife Elena were executed by an army firing squad following a so-called secret trial which had been shown on Romanian television. During the trial, the couple were convicted of the genocide of 60,000 people who died in the popular revolt. They were also found guilty of hiding more than $1 billion in foreign banks and of undermining the economy and the country. After the Ceausescu's death was announced, people rejoiced in the streets. 1989, a year that had seen the introduction of bans for ozone-depleting chemicals and a measure of freedom and justice restored for millions, was truly a year of momentous happenings.